فتره طويله قبل فتره قصيره تقريبا كل الناس كانت بتقول انه لاست ايبوك از ذا ديابلو كيلر. لاست ايبوك نزلت وما هي ذاك الشيء الكبير، فدحين جت فرصه. باث اوف اكزايل جايه في الطريق برضو. انا اقدر اقول لك ممكن تكون باث اوف اكزايل هي اللعبه الوحيده اللي ممكن تكسر على ديابلو بالراحه، بس انا انسان احب ديابلو بصراحه، اتمناها ترجع شويه.
Making a smaller pool of affixes that are more relevant and more potent for your specific build. So as I kind of mentioned earlier in the goals section,
these two شايف هذول الاثنين يا ود خرا 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 خرا. يعني تخيل انت انا بالقوه اوصل وورد تير 3 مثلا في البدايه ليفل 50، اوصل وورد 3 المفروض ينزل لي بس سيكريد، طول الوقت قاعد ينزل لي نورمال ايتمز which is مره ضعيفه ما منها فايده. ما اعرف ليش، ما اعرف مين الحمار اللي فكر يحطه، بس كويس انه خلاص نو مور انت توصل وورد تير 3 حينزل لك سيكريد، لانه على فكره الجمب ما بين النورمال ايتمز والسيكريد مره عالي. الجمب العالي، الجمب ما بين سيكريد وانسترال مره عالي. تخيل انت توصل وورد تير 4 تلاقي ايتمات سيكريد تنزل، تخيل تخلف. يا تخيل ينزل لك ايتم حق ثلاثة سكيلات انت ما تستعمل الا واحده، بس الايتم مره عالي، فانت تستعمل الايتم وعندك 2 افكسات او 2 ستاتس ما تستعملها. تخيل والله العظيم اللي سوى الكلام ده كله عنده مشكله نفسيه والله.
at some examples here. Oh, right. So the other update is that we are reducing the total number of affixes on gear that initially drops. So legendary items used to drop with 4 affixes, 4 lines of stats. That's going down to 3. And then rare items, the yellow items used to have...
Not bad يعني not bad. خلوه 3 أحسن. 4 is too much. 4 is too much.
It'll still get...
كويس والله. يا واد اخر شيء في ديابلو يا عيال، اخر شيء اوكي ينزل لك ليجندري 925 ستاتس خرافيه، تمام، شيء خرافي. تروح تقتل ينزل لك نفس الليجندري، تلاقي الليجندري نفس الافكت حق الليجندري عالي، بس تلاقي الستاتس ابو كلب. يا واد احساس يمكن اعفن شيء في الدنيا.
You know, these really build defining, flashy...
Damn, can drop from 1 and 2.
Unique items, right? They are very powerful.
يعني بعضها في وورد 1 and 2 كل اليونيكات من بداية من 3.
Currently, they're locked behind just World Tier 3 and onward. They're really late game items. And we thought that to really get you into the fun faster, to get your build online, we've made it so that many of our uniques, and so this way you can really customize your character.
You can customize your item. That's cool.
You know, specifically to your build and the skills that you're using and the way you want to play. List of possible affixes that are kind of themed to individual builds. So if you are a bone necro, for instance, you know, the manual for bone necro might have, you know, things specifically to bone spear and bone splinters and bone spirit. Of your bone storm. So if you're a bone necro,
X2 الفترة الأخيرة صار أشوف كل شيء على سرعة كيف ما فهمتك.
One of these is probably going to be pretty relevant to you and will be really a cool way of customizing your character and your skills. So here's an example of the UI. So on the left, we've got, you know, this choker of ancestral charge, one of my favorite legendaries, currently on season 3. And so it's got, you know, the relatively simpler affixes. It's got just max life, damage, and critical strike chance.
أنا قاعد أسوي سكيبات أصلاً.
We go to the blacksmith, we put it into the menu here, and we can see that there are kind of 6 categories.
اوكي تزود حاجتين tempered affixes، تحط نوعين زيادة، شايف 0 2 تحط two more new things. اوكي يعني you can customize الايتم اللي تبغاه بالضبط حسب ما تبغاه. كويس.
So yeah, actually it wasn't.
شوف it looks interesting. الله يعيننا the execution.
We've identified that we're in the middle of fixing right now.
Have happened there.
Yeah.
Right. So
easier for you to reach those 925.
Greater affixes.
So it comes in at that 150 mark.
Oh, okay. Which means higher affixes.
These are really exciting drops when you get.
يعني مثلا تنزل لك ايتمايه في واحده منها تجيك مره دبل النوع. يعني مثلا خلينا نديك مثال فيرنبل دامج مثلا تلاقيها بدل ما هي مثلا 35 ولا 30 تلاقيها 60. هنا تعرف انه انت جزءك ايتمايه في
In the
جريت
late game,
افكس.
they're going to be immediately obvious whenever they drop on the ground. They're going to have, and we can see that intelligence here is highlighted, and so is critical strike damage. And these roll
اوكي يعني هذه هي.
at the max roll, and I think we've got a comparison kind of between, you know,
مرة كويس موضوع الايتم ليفل ايتم باور فيكست مرة كويس.
standard version. So on the left is a you know, a non-greater version of a dagger. You've got say 74 dexterity, and maybe it rolled between 70
دايم يعني انت لو نزلت لك ايتمات زي كده حظك مرة حلو.
and 84. But on
غالبا ديابلو كنت ايش؟ ديابلو 3 قاعدة تقريبا 10 years. ديابلو 2 ديابلو 3 قاعدة 10 years تقريبا. وما كان في اكسبانشن، كان في بس كونتنت اوريدي موجود، ليفلات علوها يفكوا ليفلات، بس كانوا قاعدين يفكوا ليفلات بس. قاعدين يفكوا difficulties فهمتني؟ واغلب الناس تلعب اللعبة يعني يعتبر هو زي الكومبetitive. تمام؟ الكومبetitive هذا انك انت تسوي الدناجن والكلام الفاضي ده كله. كان مو دناجن، كان قصة وقتها، كان قصة تسوي القصة كاملة بالليفلات اعلى، فهمت؟ زي كده. فالشيء اللي بكلمك عليه اللادر بوردز حينزلوه بعدين.
The fact that the armies of hell are basically coming for your blood, right? They're coming for you at this time. And what they, in that case, you're going to see that there's going to be a new creature type that's going to appear, which we'll be able to get to in just a second. Some of the other big changes that are happening in Helltide alongside this, while we kind of wait for some of this stuff to happen, is we have reduced the level requirement or the world tier requirement for Helltides. You'll start to see them in lower world tiers now, so they're in a great way for you to level up. Okay, it looks like the forces of hell have been alerted. So now there's going to be like it's going to be almost a little more of a holdout. More invasions and ambushes are going to start to occur at this time, you know, and it's going to have a kind of cap-off event towards the end. We'll talk about as it arrives. But you can see right now that threat is draining while this event is occurring. So you've kind of like reached that maximum threshold. You know, the minions of hell are coming for you. You're going to be kind of fighting pretty hard for this stuff. But it's a great way to get like access to a lot of elites. You know, once this bar is drained once again, you can start building it up by again going out, doing more things inside the Helltide experience. You're going to get more opportunities for more cinders and more of these ambushes again as time goes on. Looks like we're getting towards the end of this now. Oh yeah,
should be getting this Hellborn here.
Yeah. So yes, and now one of the Hellborn has managed to appear. Hellborn are they're very much a similar creature to some of the blood seekers that we've seen in the past. These are adventurers who have fallen to the depravities of hell. They're now serving their infernal masters. They have great drops, like they'll drop like legendary equipment, and they will also drop summoning materials for Lord Zir moving forward. So there's more ways for you to get some of those mats as you go through the experience. And that's actually one of the other things that we did as part of our general updates. Is we kind of wanted to go through and do a pass to make it easier to find more of those boss summoning materials, like from doing like different kinds of content. So while obviously you can go to Helltides and open tortured gifts to get living steel pretty quickly, we want to make sure that there's like, if you find like a treasure goblin, there's a chance now that treasure goblin could drop a random boss summoning material. You know, when you go and you open bounty caches or whisper caches at the end of a bunch of whispers runs, like in that situation, you'll also get a chance of getting random boss summoning material. You know, and we find more opportunities through different parts of the experience in like local events, like when you're going and just finding events and you manage to complete the mastery objective of an event now, there's a chance for you to get a boss summoning material there. You know, even elites have a very, very low chance to drop some of these materials. And again, all to make it just a little bit easier to kind of like gain access to these bosses as you're leveling up and playing, even if you're not saying specifically in just Nightmare Dungeons to get Distilled Fear or something else, right? So yeah, I think those are going to be some pretty fun updates for the players. That's obviously
pretty
not
exciting.
everything.
Yeah.
So another thing that we're doing as part of this is that we are adding a new boss. We're adding Andariel. So you can now fight Andariel. She is summonable by defeating the Beast in Ice and Lord Zir, and she's got the same drop table as Duriel. So we want to make sure that players have a couple different ways to kind of gain access to these really, really powerful uniques that Duriel drops, but also for that shot at getting those uber uniques.
شوف ما امزح معك، اقول لك بكل امانه، everything they mentioned في الكامب فاير is so interesting. اللعبة اسهل، كل شيء تمام. الله يستر من الاكسكيوشن، بس الاكسكيوشن هو اللي يخوف والله العظيم. انا خايف من الاكسكيوشن بس انه the actual
That always
experience
requires players to go
خايس.
back to those same places. So between opening up the options of how you gain, I think we might actually have like. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about in just a minute is a new feature called the pit. And inside the pit, you're going to be earning Stygian stones you'll be able to use to summon higher level versions of all of these bosses as you go deeper into the experience. So we think this is extremely exciting. It provides another way for players to be able to like express their build strength, and going and fighting these bosses are going to provide much greater rewards. In fact, when you kill one of these new very powerful tormented versions of these bosses out there, they are going to give you one resplendent spark the first time you kill any of them. So of like all the ones that you can summon, the first time you kill one of them, you're going to get a resplendent spark for you to use in the future. Now, and that is not all that we're doing, obviously. I mentioned the pit. So if we could just go ahead and, well, I guess we can talk about it. I can speak to it actually, yeah. So we've been getting a lot of feedback from like our experience with the Abattoir of Zir. You know, so towards the end of season 2, we had this like really difficult like dungeon dive. We were going against again forces of Lord Zir inside this experience, and fighting Bloodseekers and kind of racing the clock. And that was a pretty fun experience. We got a lot of really good information and feedback about how that really played out. We made a number of adjustments in the form of this new content type that we're calling the Artificer's Pit. And what it effectively is a way for players to go and like once players have managed to complete a tier 45 nightmare dungeon, which is filled with like level 100 monsters, they're going to gain access to a quest that's going to like send them around the world looking for rune shards. And rune shards are just this new material that players will collect to open up Artificer's Rifts. And they drop from elite creatures, they drop all over the place. Like it's pretty easy to find, you know, the materials you'll need to start this process. And when you have a number of them, you can bring them back to this obelisk in Karagar and kind of use that to like form your first pit run effectively. And there's hundreds of levels of this, and the monsters that you will begin fighting immediately are all like right at level 100. Do we have
we have a video of it.
Yeah, let's see what we got. So we have Ruben like kind of near there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. We have the live play
with that awesome debug.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, with the awesome debug text. Everybody, it's PTR. Look forward, and we're talking about dev stuff right now. This is what it looks like sometimes. So okay, so we see here that Ruben's coming here. He's already done the rift before. He's going to go ahead and just open up a tier 1 Artificer's Rift, and we'll see how this goes. So he's going to spend 1 rune shard to do this. That's going to open up right here in Karagar, and we're going to go. There's a little bit of a stacking issue there. Yeah, we're going to have that fixed too. Again, send us that feedback, everybody. And you're going to dive into your first pit run. Now, each pit experience is it's a randomized layout.
اكون صريح معاك، مره كويس انه هم يبغوا مننا فيدباك، وهذا شيء مره كويس.
Filled with random monsters.
بدايه ممتازه جدا.
You know, there's no nightmare affixes like what we have in, or like afflictions like we have in Nightmare Dungeons. Instead, the players really like just pushing themselves up as against this timer as fast as they can, trying to complete it. So as you're going through this, you'll see it's very similar to a lot of the things that we did in the Abattoir of Zir. Now we want to make sure that this is a quick, punchy experience as you're playing and you're killing monsters. You're not going to be getting any loot from the drops. Like there's like that stuff's not here. Okay, let's not get too excited. All right, so now he's going to go and he's going to fight the boss in just a moment. Now the second thing that's different about the pit that we you just start to see it a little bit. There's different from what we've done in AOZ in the past. Is that occasionally during a pit run you're going to be confronted by another major boss or villain that you've seen. Like you'll see their echo occasionally appear just for a moment to perform a big attack. Big sweeping attack, or that you're going to have to like avoid or deal with while you're dealing with the boss you're already fighting. And this is happening throughout the duration of the pit as well. You know, and as you go deeper, you'll see this occasionally a little more frequently at the same time. So these are just another complication, like another thing that you're going to have to be thinking about while you're playing and trying to like remember the sorts of patterns. Eventually, you'll see a couple of these appearing as well. You know, so like you'll be dealing with that like that kind of pattern following as you play deeper and deeper into the pit.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Elias, for instance, like a shade of Elias can
appear.
You
can come and do an attack.
Just do an attack in the middle of the run.
A shade of Lilith can appear as well.
A shade of Lilith can also appear, which is
these are definitely.
يعني قصده يجيك شيدز من بوسات اللعبه،
tough things
بوسات الاساسيين.
as you go deeper and deeper, and eventually you might see a couple of them as well in combination. So okay,
Yeah.
so here Ruben killed the boss, got a number of different drops. There's a bug in this version that we're looking at right now where the items they're dropping are not actually ancestral, but that's not the case when players will be playing on the PTR. You all see ancestral items as the rewards for killing the boss here at the end. And then after that, when you open the chest, you're going to see that there's a bunch of obdicite that popped out of it, which is a masterworking material. You know, I think he got 5, you know, from the first run. So as you go deeper in the pit, there's basically 3 tiers of masterworking materials that you're going to be able to earn through. So there's the obdicite, there's the ingolith, and then there is the neath iron. So these are available as you go deeper and deeper into the pit experience. I think obdicite right now is like tiers 1 to 20. You know, you'll be getting amounts of obdicite. As you go from like 21 to 40, you get amounts of ingolith, and as you go to neath iron and beyond, as you go into like, you know, like 40 and beyond, you'll start seeing more and more neath iron. And these things can also be like condensed down to lower level materials if you need them for resetting a masterwork item starting at a lower level.
So you don't have to go back to the low level.
No,
you can stay at the high end.
You can stay at a higher level.
Trim it, yeah.
But to be clear, if you want to get to that rank 12 masterworking, the best possible items, you do need to be pushing deeper levels of the pit. You can't just continually farm level 1. You want to push to that efficiency bet that you said. Push yourself to your limit to get the most materials per hour, and just, you know, really fight that hard content to get the best items.
That's correct. So
والله يا واد it looks so interesting. الله يستر.
So yeah, if you want to go through that process and like really get those the best items available for your build, you're going to want to go through the masterworking process, maybe even probably more than once, almost certainly more than once, right, to get the absolute very best items. You know, so we think the pit's going to be it's a really fun experience. It is it's very extendable, so it goes pretty deep for players. And again, as you're going, you're getting these Stygian stones as you play. You know, like as you get deeper into the experience, you're going to get those. You're going to get the. You know, so that's
well before the PTR actually starts, and we will actually have a blog kind of going through all the details of this actual campfire chat.
Able to interact with the new systems of tempering or
Q&A.
Forum available there. This also
April 2nd April 9th الBTR.
does mean season 3 is going to be extended because we want to make sure we grab all the feedback from this PTR and all the feedback from the community, and we have enough time
ترى على فكرة في سبب ان انا ما عملت لها انستول اللعبة ارجع اقول لك اللعبة fundamentally is fun. but المشكلة انه there's nothing to do. على قولتهم قبل شوي لما قالوا ايتمات بتنزل لك عمياني، فعلا ما امزح معاك، ايتمات بتنزل لي عمياني، يونيكات بتنزل لي عمياني، كلها ما احتاجها، كلها ببيعها، ما في excitement في اللعبة.
actually implement that for season 4.
انا عجبني موضوع انك انت دحين لما تيجي تسوي شخصيتك تقدر تركز على شخصيتك كويس.
So season 3 is going to be extended to May 14th. Season 4, of course, will start on May 14th as well. And we'll be coming out with more information on what season 4 is specifically. And all the details that we actually talked about here today will be in a very extensive blog along with all the patch notes of all the like small things like the class changes that Adam actually wasn't able to get through. Small. Will be in those patch notes as well. And we still actually do have another update that will be coming out next week for Diablo 4. And this one has actually been long awaited because this one does include some big quality features on the graphics side for D4. And we will have a blog that will be talking about it. As you guys know, ray tracing is coming to D4, and that'll be hitting next week on March 26th. So people will be able to maybe if you got a rig for it, you can totally turn up all your graphical settings, get ray tracing with D4, and we'll also be talking about how console players will also be able to take advantage of it in our blog next week. So lots of stuff coming down, and lots to talk about. Again, next week we'll have all the information on blog and patch notes. But thanks again, everyone. Thanks again, Joe Shelley, who's also still in the room over here.
Thanks,
Joe. Yeah, huge shout out to the community. Thank you guys again for all the wonderful feedback that you guys have been providing. And we're really excited for you guys to jump into PTR, jump into all the
والله يا واد it looks so interesting. الله يستر though. Comments are turned off. ليش؟ عشان عندك زباين يميموا كثير. يلا نتبعد. يا عيال بيرد باك، انا حسيب بس ادهم شغال وانا مأفك.